Good Sunday morning, sports fans. How are you doing? You know what time it is? It is 10 a.m. Central Standard Time here in the big state of Texas. I am Kendrick, the sports guy, and you are watching TFG Sports Media, the best 30 minutes or longer sports show on the YouTube and Facebook streets. Again, I am Kendrick, your host. I hope everyone is having a great Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you are doing okay. Are you full of that turkey and dressing? Are you tired of it by now? Are you still eating on it? Or have you moved on to something else? I can honestly say I did not eat any Thanksgiving food. I really didn't have a taste for it. I did something really simple with me and my two sons. We just did chicken and waffles. That was it. I ain't want no dressing, no ham, no turkey, no potato salad, no mac and cheese. I was cool on all that. I just did something totally different. So again, I hope everyone enjoyed the 3 F's: food, family, and football. But when we're gonna talk some sports, make sure you come in, make sure you like and share this program to your social media. Make sure you come in and comment and talk to me, tell me how your Thanksgiving was and how you doing. And we're going to sit back and we're going to, again, talk sports. Again, this is the TFG Sports Show. Make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. That's TFG Sports Media, as well as Kendrick Sports also on YouTube, as you see scrolling at the bottom of your screen. And also make sure you like and follow TFG Sports Media on YouTube. So we are in week 12 of the football season. And guess what? My guy is joining me right now. My guy, Mr. Michael E. Coleman. Again, the E stands for Excellent Sports Director at KLTV in Tyler, Texas, the ABC affiliate in Tyler. How you doing, brother?
Well, we're doing all right,
you
man.
Good?
That another turkey day's come and gone. There's a few more pounds to be added on, and you did the smart thing. I was tired of turkey after my wife came. We had our own little mini Thanksgiving, but I made my rounds. And,
okay.
You know, I don't ever have a hard time finding a place to go to on Thanksgiving Day when the wife ain't here.
I know that's right. I know I'm at the point where, like, again, I didn't eat any of the good Thanksgiving holiday food, didn't have a taste for it. I'm sure you probably got plenty plates, I'm sure. Mike.
Yep, I did.
Yeah. Well, that's good, man. Well, we're going to talk some football like we always do. Let's go ahead and start off with NFL. We are in week 12. We got some games. The games going on today. Really, Mike, I can be honest with you. It's not that big. I would say some of the matchups aren't that great, but except for one. It's two at the noon window that I want to ask you about. One of them is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. That's a big AFC South showdown.
Yep.
And the other one is the Steelers, I believe, at the Bengals. Your take on both of those, Mike. Let's start off with the Texans and the Jaguars. What's your take on this game that's coming up?
Well, you know, CJ Stroud's 1-0 against the Jaguars, and so we're going to see if he can maintain that winning opportunity for himself. I think they're in Houston, are they not in Houston?
Yeah, I believe it's in Houston. Yes.
Yeah, and I think the Texans. I think they've won 3 straight. I mean, you're right. Because a lot of key games were played on Thanksgiving Day.
Right.
So I think folks will get a chance to take a look at him if they haven't and see what he's got. He's doing some really special things for them. Now, the game that intrigues me would be the Buffalo Bills in Philadelphia, because I want to see how the Eagles respond to beating Kansas City 4 days ago or whatever it was, and how the Bills do they get their infrastructure together? They put it on. They put points on the board in their last outing. I think they're hot. I think the Eagles are hot, and I think this would be as good of a game as the Chiefs Eagles game was last week.
and speaking of your Chiefs, they play in the late window. They are at the Raiders, man. And let's talk about them a little bit. This team was, we kind of pretty much penciled them as the AFC representative, but right now, I think they're still one of the top teams in the conference, but they look a little vulnerable, especially offensively. What's your thoughts?
No, they've been vulnerable ever since the Detroit Lions beat them.
Yeah, okay.
Way back then, they've been vulnerable. They just have been able to pull it out. I thought Monday's game was a good game, but Kelsey had a drop and he had a fumble, and MVS is getting beat up,
Right.
for that
Yeah.
one. But the Watson guy on that fourth down on that last possession came up empty as well. It's the defense that's making all the marks and shining and whatnot. And this is, folks have waited a long time for this defense to finally gel.
Right.
And the defense, probably more than any other season during Mahomes' years, they're going to have to be the ones to be the side of the ball that wears the cape, if you will.
Right.
As long as you got Mahomes, you always got a chance. But now that he has the best defense that he's had since he's been there, right now they're going to have to rely on that defense more so than they've had to in the past. And I saw an interview with Sky Moore, one of the receivers, and here we are when entering week 12. And he says, we're getting there. I'm like, dude, y'all run out of time if you're trying to separate yourself
Right.
from the
Yeah.
because there's still a bunch of firsts for Mahomes, and just like he had a bunch of good first, there's a bad first, like Andy Reid's first loss coming back from a bye. Over a period with Kansas City anyway. You've got some receivers that need some work. They need some work. They get away from the run game too early for me. That number 10 who be running.
Pacheco. What's his Pacheco? Yeah.
You give a defense a few doses of him in a row, that'll wear them down. So I think they need to do more with that run game. And I am interested in this game with the Raiders because the Raiders they're playing better. And they might think they got a shot. And they do have a shot. It's Sunday. They got a shot.
Right. Yeah. Right. Any given Sunday. You right. Yeah.
Sunday. So they don't say we're giving Tuesday because it's on Sunday. So
they don't.
Along with the games that you talked about, Raiders, Eagles, Bills game interesting too.
Yeah, right. I agree with that. Now, speaking of the AFC, let's stay in the AFC. We got the Ravens at the Chargers tonight. That's the Sunday night game, and I think the Ravens right now is the best team in the AFC by hands down.
They're the one seed right now. The playoffs are going on. And not just because that's where they are this time of the year. They're playing good ball. They're playing good ball quietly, and I think what helps them is you don't hear a lot of national narrative on these guys.
You really don't. You're right. You're right.
You used to Lamar this, Lamar that. You don't hear that like you used to. And I think that's a good thing. And they're winning the way they're winning. I like John Harbaugh because whenever they ask him a question about Lamar, he say, "Listen, I'm a Lamar guy, and I'm going to be a Lamar guy till the day I die." So I like that kind of affirmation. That kind of I got your back, Lamar. And so he's playing like Lamar, and he's got some help, and it's all gelling. It's just we just don't see it or hear about it as much as we would if it was the Cowboys.
Yeah, we just don't. You're exactly right. And sometimes when you're flying under the radar, that's a good thing too, because you're not getting all those distractions and all that kind of stuff, the narratives and all that, the spins and all that. So that's a good thing. Well, let's go back as we wind to take to Thanksgiving Day. Let's talk about these Thanksgiving games that we had. Let's start with the early game in the window. We had Green Bay at Detroit, and you see, me and Mike talked about if I was going to be drinking Ripple or Muscatel. Right now, I didn't have to drink neither one of them because my doggone Green Bay Packers, they ended up getting the W, even though we got a little dicey in the second half. They beat the Lions on Thanksgiving Day, 29-22. Mike, your thoughts on the Packers at the Lions and your reaction?
Well, you remember I told you I thought the Packers would win that game.
Yeah, you did. You're right.
And when that first drive was telling, Jordan Love got his feet under him. Got a little confidence underneath him, and they made that first drive and they scored. And they Detroit, as far as Detroit's concerned, they're fine. They're it's just ironic to be the best team they've had in years, and they can't pull off a W on Thanksgiving Day for the 8th straight year in a row. You talk about some disappointed Lions fans And the
Exactly.
team as well.
Right.
But Green Bay was up for this game. Green Bay football is an emotional game,
Mm-hmm.
and Green Bay played with a lot of emotion,
Right.
and you know that. Let's see if that's the coming out for Jordan Love. He played a good game.
He did. He
Played
did.
a good game.
Mm-hmm.
There was no second guessing on what he did. Like I said, this could be the start for his career of a strong trajectory. They still have a shot. Well, they have the playoff hunt. I think they can make the playoff.
Yeah. We at 5. Yeah, we at 5-6 right now. I
Yeah,
mean, so we right there. I mean, it'll definitely be a wild card, but yeah, the Packers are in the mix. They're not out of it just
no.
yet.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
seeing how they're playing, they can pick up. Let's see if they can pick up the momentum when they're back on the field, and pick up from there. As far as Detroit's concerned,
Mm-hmm.
hey, it was a deal where they just fell short, and maybe because they just knew they were going to win. They played hard.
Yeah, they played hard.
They played
Yeah, right.
hard.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think they got shocked by how Green Bay played.
Yeah,
I think
right.
I think LaFleur. I don't know what the speech was about during the course of the week, but he did a good job of telling his guys, "Hey, listen, this is one of the best Green Bay Packer teams we've seen in forever, and they
Mm-hmm.
think they're going to beat us today. Let's put them back. Let's put them back where they belong, at least on this day.
At least on this day,
On this
exactly.
day, and that's how
Right.
they played. And Detroit wasn't prepared for it because they came back almost, but
Right. They did. Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
this is not it's not cornhole. It's not horseshoes. Now it's cornhole. But because you get points for being on the board for
Right.
cornhole,
Yeah.
But that was a good
Yeah.
game. And kudos to Green Bay. They're not
Right.
flat. They're hey, as long as they're upright, they think they got a chance.
Right. We're gonna skip over the Commanders and Cowboys. We're gonna come back to that one, but let's talk about the Niners at the Seahawks. The Niners again. We talked about this last week, Mike. I think they are rounding in the form. Your thoughts on that Niners at Seattle?
Best team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco is. I mean, yeah, they had a 3-game losing streak, but and I hear a lot of what am I trying to say here? Hype on Shanahan,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not hype. That guy can
Yeah.
flat a coach. I thought he was a nepo baby.
Right.
With the dad and all. But I tip my hand to this guy because what he has done, like in that 3-game losing streak, he tinkered. He's got Chase Young, and they're
Mm-hmm.
they believe in him, and the defense is playing, the offense is playing, special teams is playing. It doesn't hurt to have you guys who were injured, no longer injured, that kind of stuff.
Right.
They're the best. They are the best team, and Seattle's a good team.
They're a solid team. They got some injuries.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
Geno Smith is a little banged
Right.
up, but they're a good team. They ain't no trash team.
And so
Right.
that was a good test for them. And so, yeah, the Niners in the NFC, which we knew beforehand, but we thought they were getting a little soft, but they're not. They're still the team to beat in the NFC.
I agree with you. Now let's talk about the Black Friday game, the Jets and the Dolphins. Dolphins, I think we all knew this game was going to happen the way it happened. First NFL game on Black Friday, by the way. The Jets right now, man, they just, offensively, it's a wash this season. It's a wrap. What's your thoughts on that Dolphins Jets game?
Who was their quarterback? Boyd. I never
Boyle, Tim Boyle. Yeah, Tim Boyle.
Never even heard that guy till they announced that he was going to be starting.
Whoever that.
Yeah, I mean, they threw him to the Lions, man. They threw him to the Lions, and he got. That was a desperation move.
Yeah.
That was a because
Right.
What's their coach name? Shala.
Yeah, Robert Salah. Yeah,
Salah.
Mm-hmm.
He won't criticize his quarterback Zach Wilson at the presser. He talks strongly about him, but his actions tell you a whole lot different.
Right.
For as much as he sides with him, it's like, well, I ain't gonna side with you on Black Friday.
Right.
So we've had to make Black Sundays with you as it is. Right.
Right.
We're gonna see if we change it up a little bit, if we can get something going. It's going back to Black Sunday for them as well. But,
Okay, yeah.
that dude was Black Friday all day long.
Yeah, man, that was man. You know what? I stopped watching that game, Mike. I didn't even want to watch anymore. I was like Roberto Duran against Sugar Ray Leonard, the second fight. No mas, no mas, no more of this. I don't even want to watch no more.
Well, you know, I saw there's a column.
So that's where we.
There's a columnist who thinks Aaron Rodgers is faking. I'm like, well, who writes who?
What?
I saw this as an article. I don't know where the columnist is from.
Man,
he does not think Aaron Rodgers is as badly injured as being reported. I was like, dude, why would you say that? And he had saying it. I think because maybe he's anticipating him coming back very fast, and the talk is that. I don't think Rodgers is coming back.
He's not coming back. You know, my thing, when guys do that, Mike, you better have proof. You can't just make an article up and say, you know, he isn't as hurt as we.
Right.
You better have some proof and something to back that up, or you just throwing stuff out there and letting it stick. Come on, man, really?
Yeah. Where is this coming from? But you see, it didn't get a lot of traction.
No, it didn't.
He should have did it during the slow part of the season.
Hey, I didn't even heard about it until you just said it. I definitely want to see. We want to read.
Well, I read it. I was like, okay.
right. And speaking of the slow part of the season.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm like, well, let me see who else jumps on this bandwagon. And
exactly.
That bandwagon is empty. He keeps looking over his shoulder to see if anybody jumped on there. Ain't nobody jumped on that bandwagon, man. And so I'm like, I ain't never seen nobody write that a player, whatever sport, is faking. Is faking.
Yeah, I had never seen that either. Right.
Hey, you can't do that.
Right.
See, that, man.
Right.
In terms of what you can and can't say.
You know, the only sport that can kind of get away with that, Mike, is right.
Yeah.
But the only sport that can kind of get away with that is boxing. When you talk about, you know, a boxer may be fake, you know, but and that's still you don't throw that out there about an athlete. I don't think you do that. That's not a good thing.
No, so
that's being reckless, in my opinion.
Exactly, it is reckless. Yeah. It is reckless.
Okay. All right, let's talk about those Cowboys at the Commanders, man. This turned into that got ugly real quick for them doggone Commanders, Mike. We all knew the Cowboys was going to beat this team. I thought this could have been a trip-up game for them, but then I was like, you know what? Cowboys normally have their number on the Commanders. 45-10, it wasn't close. You know, your thoughts on this Cowboys-Commanders Thanksgiving feast, Mike?
They were just beating themselves early on. I mean, you know, I think they were ready to play because they had penalties and, you know, but then once they got it going, you know, even you know, Tony Pollard looked like he had some extra jets in him that day. You know, they played well, and you know, I mean, I think the highlight for the Commanders was watching the Dolly Parton show. They got to take a look. That's what it's gonna get for them, you know.
Oh man, you need to stop it. That's messed up.
You know, they was howling in the locker rooms there. Hey, this is gonna get for us.
All right, Commanders fans. I didn't say that. That's Mike. Yeah, that's Michael Coleman.
That's the only highlight that was.
But yes, yeah, you're right. And then, and then with the other low light for them, they fired their defensive coordinator and their defensive back the next day. I don't know if you saw that, Mike. But the Commanders fired Jack Del Rio and.
Well, I think Del Rio.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I think Del Rio lost them. Remember a few years ago, there was an issue.
Yes, I know exactly. Yeah, was that 2 years ago? I believe.
From that point on, I mean, he may not have had them all that together then, but that just I don't think they played hard for this guy. They didn't like that guy. They just. And Daniel Snyder was not a guy who was an enforcer. He wasn't. You know, he's just. Right. I just own an NFL ball club and. Yeah, we're losing, but I still get paid, that kind of situation, you know. And I think this new ownership, you know, and that's just it.
Right.
The new ownership's going to give you a shot. You know, they're not going to just come in and change things up because they're not going to change horses in the middle of the stream, as the song goes. But, you know, Rivera just had to, not Rivera, but Jack Del Rio just had to go. Get 25 points they gave up in the fourth quarter. Come on.
Yeah.
That's unheard of in the NFL.
Yeah, he had to go. Something had to change. So I guess, the defensive coordinator, it was time to go. But let's move on to the star of the show. Let's talk about this young fella, Mike, Mr. Deron Bland. Initials DB. DB stands for defensive back, and he has been one of the best in the league since coming into the league last year as a fifth round pick, 167th pick by the Cowboys out of Sacramento State / Fresno State. Man, he did his thing. He had his fifth interception return for TD versus the Commanders, which now is a NFL record for a season. Mike, talk about this young fella, Deron Bland. Is he balling out of control or what?
Well, if you can get noticed at Sacramento State and get drafted, you got something.
Right.
And to have the misfortune / unfortune, or the misfortune or fortune for somebody like a Diggs to get hurt, and you get a chance to fill that spot, and then you take advantage of it, you see why they drafted him. You see why he stood out at a place like Sacramento State, Fresno, whatever. I never even heard of that setup like that.
Right. Well, he transferred to Fresno State his senior year. He played his first 3 years at Sacramento State, but then he finished.
And just think if he had stayed at Sacramento State.
At Fresno State, because COVID interrupted his, I believe.
He's a COVID.
Right, exactly. So.
And he parlayed it. And he
was a COVID. Yeah,
he parlayed that situation for what it is. So, he's got money coming his way down the road, from whomever.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, Mike, because the thing is, it's his second year. The Cowboys really ain't got to pay him nothing until 2 more years. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So they got them a steal right now.
Oh, there's no doubt. He definitely is a steal. I mean, as good as he does stealing, they got a good steal, right?
Right.
And the thing is, before that next contract comes up, he's already laying down the resume, and Jerry ain't letting him go nowhere. And if you get drafted in the 5th round, you want to hear something like that. First round guys, they got the silver spoon most of the time. Anyway, those 5th round guys, those are the backbone. That's the core of your team. Guys, that 4th, 5th, and 6th right there, and he's
right
of it, confirmation of it.
Right. Well, his career stats thus far, he has 102 tackles, 20 passes deflected. Again, 12 interceptions in 2 years. Those 5 defensive touchdown interceptions returned for touchdowns. Again, that's a record in a season. And here's a list, Mike. Check this out. For the most interceptions returned in their career, I went and looked this up. Rod Woodson is number 1 with 12. Number 2 is Darren Sharper with 11. Number 3 is Aqib Talib with 10. And there's 3 tied with 9. That's the late, great Ken Houston, Aeneas Williams, and Deion Sanders. And Deron Bland already has 5. So he's already halfway there to almost halfway there to Rod Woodson. You think he's gonna get at least 11 in his career?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt, because of the teams that are in his division who are playing poorly. Now, he got to share the ball with when Diggs come back, The opposite side, they may have had themselves in their own little personal contest, to help continue to motivate one another. That kind of thing right there. All kinds of incentive out there. So no, it's a good problem to have for the Cowboys. They have Diggs come back, and you got Deron Bland, and they both are pick-off artists. That's good.
That's good. But, let's go be honest, Mike. He's not going to be picking them off at this rate like that. Let's go be honest. Because, Trevon Diggs had, 11? When was that, last year or 2 years ago? So it comes in bunches, I think. And I think he's just taking advantage of it. Now, here's another good stat. The last 2 players across the NFL to have at least 10 interceptions in their first career 26 games, both of them are Cowboys cornerbacks, Trevon Diggs and Deron Bland. So what is that saying about your DB coach, Al Harris? Now, I did read something today that some teams might be trying to come steal him. Al Harris, former Packers, he's been with McCarthy his whole, whatever. What does that say about Al Harris? You think his name is gonna start creeping up for coaching vacancy
Well,
somewhere?
it just shows that on that side of the ball that Quinn ain't the only guy that's a hot commodity to be having on that Steve side.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. You're right. So Deron Bland, man, he's doing his thing. Again, you like to see a kid like this, man, be successful. Again, 5th round pick. I was reading some of the sports blogs, and a lot of people, hate. I ain't gonna say haters. A lot of people saying, "Well, he's getting those against crap teams, yada yada yada." But at the end of the day, it don't matter who he get them against. He just play who's on the schedule. At the end of the day, I mean, I don't understand why people think that it doesn't mean anything if you're not doing against a quality team. It doesn't mean anything. I don't get that.
Because you're saying that team he's getting it from don't belong in the NFL.
That's exactly what they're saying, and I don't get that. Right. So again, Deron Bland, he's doing his thing. The Cowboys will get rested up. They play this coming Thursday. They got the Seahawks. That's going to be a test for him, I think.
That is going to be a test. That is going to be a test.
Because they hadn't really played a team with the winning record, and right now the Seahawks are sitting at 6-5, and they got the Dolphins. They got the Eagles coming up after that on Sunday night. They got the Dolphins down the road, so the Cowboys got a couple of big games coming up in December. So we're going to see what they really made of here in a little bit. So let's move on to. I stay in the NFL, man, but this story right here, we're talking about the Indianapolis Colts and Jim on Twitter, well, X, which is formerly known as Twitter, and he was said that he might sue ESPN, and he went in, Mike. I don't know if you were able to hear this soundbite, but
I watched it
on this.
You
watched it?
I heard about it. I watched it last night. I'm like, who does he think he is? I mean, he's had a treacherous life, a treacherous upbringing. I mean, nothing ever happened to him when he had those drugs and all that. If that had been a player, he'd been suspended, been banned from the league.
Right.
Right. He's arrogant. He's arrogant, and he gives off the vibe that you think people like him with access to money act like.
And you're right. And I said this, and I did a segment on this, and I said, I don't want to attribute this just to rich white men, because I think rich people, when they get power and money, they become delusional in most of the time, and they think that what they say, it makes sense all the time. And they also say their money can get them into stuff that regular people like us can't get into, but it also can get them out of stuff that people of color like us can't get out of either. Because if you don't know, he only served 2 days on this DUI arrest in jail.
Didn't he get there drugs in the car?
Yeah, it was prescription. They found prescription medication bottles, also with pills. I don't know what type of pills they were. And he had $29,000 in cash as well found in the car. And he was charged with suspicion of driving under the influence. He also failed the field sobriety test. He was arrested. Again, he was sentenced. He pled guilty. He was sentenced to 60 days, but 58 of those days were suspended. Now, you tell me, Mike, anybody without the money or being a billionaire, you think they would get off with just 2 days in jail with that?
Heck no. They have a hard time just trying to raise bail.
Right. Right. And then you want to sit up here and say, "Whoa, woe is me! I'm the rich white billionaire. I was profiled."
And it's funny
because ain't nobody want to hear that sob story.
When he said that, I'm like, "Well, how they know it was you when they pulled you over?" They
Right.
don't know driving that car at night. They just see a car breaking the rules. Oh, look, it's a billionaire rich white guy.
And then most people, the most average person won't know the NFL owners
No,
that except unless it's Jerry Jones because he's recognizable, or Robert Kraft.
that's
Would
true.
nobody know doggone? I wouldn't know him if he walked up on Jim Irsay. I wouldn't have known him. I know him now.
And he looks like he's in such poor health. I mean, I'd never seen him. Just he's hunched over and he's frail to have been a guy that was
how old you think he is, Mike?
Oh, dude, when I heard his age, I was shocked.
Because he's what, like 63, 64? Something like that.
He's 64.
Man, that's young. And he looks like he's like 79 or something. He looks
right.
old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude is 64? Shit, I'm 65 and I'm doing pretty good.
Right. You look 10 times younger than he do, Mike.
I cannot believe that he was that age. I mean, that's hard living. That's hard living, but that is.
That is popping them damn pills. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he came out talking about he's gonna sue ESPN and First Take on their segment because Stephen A. and the other young lady, they went in on him for real. Which was understandable because I
killing him.
Huh?
He was killing him. She was killing him.
Who was killing him?
Martin, the young lady.
Yeah. I can't remember her first. Is it Jennifer Martin, Rachel Martin? I can't remember her first name.
She's funny and she's good and she's sarcastic.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted us to talk about that again. This I think that statement was ludicrous. Andrea Kramer gave him a chance to clarify that. I mean, he doubled down on it, Mike. He's like, I don't give a damn if nobody understand or don't like what I say. I'm like, okay, this dude right here is very delusional.
And in a court of law, it's like, well, why are you suing him? You just said you didn't care what anybody said about it.
Right. Now you ain't making no damn sense whatsoever, man. So anyway, all right, we through talking about that clown. Let's get him on out of here, and let's talk about another clown, Mike. I don't know if we got to talk about this, man. Man. Oh man, I don't know if anybody's seen it. Have you watched it yet? The doc, Mike.
I've watched it.
You got it. It's really good. Bye Bye Barry. Just to let the people out there watching. By the way, you watching TLG Sports Media. I'm your host Kendrick with my guest, KLTV Sports Director Michael Coleman. It's called Bye Bye Barry. It's a documentary on Barry Sanders. It dropped on Amazon Prime on this past Tuesday, and I checked it out. It's really good. Well, former Detroit Lion quarterback Scott Mitchell, he went in on a Facebook rant, and he was not happy about it. And I read what he said. He says, I'm so tired of hearing how I was the reason that Barry Sanders never won a Super Bowl. I'm so tired of hearing how I was not a good quarterback. My only response is F you all. That includes Eminem, the rapper, and Jeff Daniels. And the reason why he mentioned those two, Eminem is actually in the documentary talking about Barry and the Lions and all that stuff. So, and my thoughts on this, first of all, I hold mine. Mike, what's your thoughts on Scott Mitchell and him hating on Barry Sanders and the Detroit Lions?
Well, I tell you what, it struck a nerve with him, and just like we're all entitled to our opinion, he's entitled to his opinion, it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all, because no matter what you say, Barry's going to be the guy. I mean, this is a Barry Sanders flower giving moment, and hey, he ain't the only quarterback that kept other cats who were good from going to the Super Bowl or from winning. So he just need to get in line. Just get in line with the other quarterback. It's a lonely situation, but you got company. All right, you got company.
Well, here's the thing about Scott Mitchell. For those who go back, I know Lions fans know. I mean, he was one of the hottest free agents out there in '94 when he signed with the Lions, because he came out of Miami. He played 4 years with the Lions. Now, 1995 was his best season in Detroit. He threw for 44,338 yards, 32 touchdowns. The Lions did go 10-6 that season. But I don't want to give it away, Mike, since you haven't watched it. But I gotta say, it is a part in there that I can see why it kind of ruffled his feathers. There's a part in there where former coach Wayne Fonts, I can't remember if he was talking to a Lion staffer or was he talking to Barry, but it was from it was a clip from back then.
Okay,
and he was and he was mentioning that there was 2 quarterbacks that he wished he could get. They were older, and he was talking about Warren Moon and he was talking about Joe Montana, and eventually Joe Montana would go to Kansas City. So it was a clip that Fonts was talking about. But at the time, Scott Mitchell was the quarterback. So maybe that's the part that really ruffled his feathers.
Okay.
That'd be the only part I would say that I can understand him feeling some type of way, seeing that for the first time and not knowing that. I don't know.
It's kind of like the Dennis Rodman react. Was it Rodman? No. Who was it? Who reacted the most vociferously on Michael Jordan's documentary?
Oh, Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen.
Yeah,
Pippen.
Then he went on. Yeah,
like that. It's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but it is really a good doc, Mike. I'm not gonna give it away. His 4 sons is in it. It talks about he kind of talks about his. I will tell you this: he didn't tell his dad he didn't tell his dad that he was retiring.
Oh,
his dad found out offhand.
Well,
I'll just leave it at that, and I want you to watch it. So
I've seen a clip of Emmett talking. I can tell you this for sure. I was still in Austin when he retired, and I think I asked Emmett as he was about to walk off of practice, "Did you hear that Barry Sanders retired?" He goes, "What?" That's how Emmett Smith found it. He found out at training camp in Austin, Texas.
Wow.
And then held camp right there. It's like, oh man. So he was definitely shocked by that. He said, "No." I said, yeah. So I remember that because I remember I saw a preview of a clip with him. I said, "Yeah, I think I'm the one that told him that he retired." Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's dope, Mike. I didn't know you know that, but yeah, it's gonna have some good moments in it that I know you're gonna dig.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out. I'll definitely check it out. I had planned on it, but I'm gonna watch it sooner than later. Now
we talking about running backs, obviously. Okay, gotcha. All right, man. Let's talk about one quick thing, then we get our final thoughts and out of here. College football, pretty much the regular season wrapped up this past weekend. We got conference championships going, about to start probably in another week or so. And I was just looking at the college football playoff rankings, Mike. As of right now, the top 4 teams is Georgia at number 1, Ohio State at number 2, Michigan at number 3. Obviously, this is going to change. Washington at number 4, Florida State at number 5, Oregon at number 6, Texas at number 7, Alabama at number 8 after that crazy win they got in the Iron Bowl over Auburn yesterday. Number 9 is Missouri. Number 10 is Louisville. Again, these are up to date. This is going to be updated on Tuesday, and I'm sure Ohio State is probably going to drop out, and probably Florida State is going to move in. Mike, what you think about what we're looking at now, college football playoffs?
So Florida State did win last night.
Yeah, Florida State did win. They beat Florida 24-15.
I knew I saw when I saw score, I saw it was Florida. Well, I tell you what, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, I'm king of the world right now.
Right.
Because he's got a team that knows how to be composed during all the noise surrounding them. That's a different level of ball in Michigan. I think that proved that yesterday. They lost their coach twice and still won. Like I said, football is an emotional game, and you got to think about all that other stuff that comes with it. And for them to still, study and steady and be focused, kudos to them. That was a good game. Michigan and Ohio State. I enjoyed watching that game. And just, hey, I got to hand it to Haynes King and Georgia Tech. They didn't go out there and embarrass themselves last night.
No, they did, man. They played that game tough. If y'all didn't know, Georgia it was 31-23. Georgia Tech hung in there. Again, former Longview Lobo.
Yeah.
Haynes King did his thing, out of East Texas, transferred from A&M. So Georgia have had a couple of close games, but again, they still king of the hill. They 12-0. Yeah. Now here's the thing, Mike. Ohio State will definitely drop out. I believe Florida State will probably move up. Now, the interesting thing is you got Oregon, Texas, and Alabama all with 1 losses, but they got their conference championship games. which one of those three teams could sneak in maybe at 4 if Washington or Florida State slip up? You think one of those?
It's Texas.
You think okay.
They want Texas to win so bad, which I don't mean it in a mean way. It's just that just like they'd want USC,
Right,
but USC ain't quite there yet.
Right.
But Texas is. I mean, what Texas has going for them, that win over Alabama. That's the one mark.
Yeah.
That's the one blemish on Alabama's record is a loss to Texas. And
because you made a good point. Now that I think about it, no matter what Alabama does in the SEC conference championship, even if they were to beat Georgia, if Texas, whomever they play in the conference championship, win, they still going to have that win over Alabama, and I think the committee will look at that and put them over Alabama, no matter what Alabama.
Well,
does.
it'll be Texas and Oklahoma State is who it's going to be.
Oh, it's Oklahoma State. Okay, Oklahoma State. I didn't know. Okay,
yeah. Did they? Wait, hold up. It might be Oklahoma.
See, I wasn't sure.
Who won that game last night? No, I think Oklahoma State won last night. I think they pulled it out.
Oh, okay. You know what? Let me look because I was. Let me look real quick. Because I was wondering if Oklahoma, because I didn't know who they would face. Obviously, Texas would in the Big 12. Let me see what happened last night. Because for a minute there, Oklahoma State was behind, I thought.
Yeah. Oh, they were behind a lot. They won. It went to overtime. That's right.
Okay. Oklahoma State won in overtime. You're right.
Overtime.
Yep. Yeah. They beat BYU double overtime.
Overtime.
Yeah, and Oklahoma demolished. Well, that was a damn basketball score, 69-45 over TCU.
Yeah.
That's the top 10 as of right now. On Tuesday, we will get the new rankings. Again, like I say, Ohio State is definitely going to drop out, and I believe Florida State probably will move up into that number 4 spot. So we'll see what happens there. All right, Mike. Final thoughts? Anything interesting you found? Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah. Last week, I think her name was Clarissa Thompson.
Oh yeah, we talked. Yes.
Did we talk about that?
We didn't talk about it on the show, but afterwards,
okay,
yes.
Okay.
But
you know what? Since that's been like over a week ago, and I haven't heard anybody of prominence come down on her.
Mm-hmm.
And she should have been she should have been raked over the coals for that.
Right.
I just think, and I couldn't remember if we talked about it.
Wait, describe it to those of the viewers out there. Tell her what she said.
Yeah, well, she said early in her career. Well, she on her podcast she said when it happens, and then when she corrected, she said early in my career. So you pick which one. But she was just saying that if she couldn't get a coach to interview, which I hate those interviews anyway.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm.
She would lie about what they said. That's a credibility issue. And those who are like disappointed in what she had to say, it's like, well, you're a sideline reporter. That's still an extension of journalism, which it is, know. And so I thought I would have heard more about it since you and I talked about it, but I haven't heard any more about it at all, And that just, again,
no, I hadn't either.
The privilege part is acknowledging that you do it.
Right. There you go, right there. Now, another thing, Mike, high school football playoffs in Texas, man, specifically East Texas. Who we got left, man? We got
Longview got bounced. That's a big surprise. I mean, they lost to a team that beat them earlier this year. So the 2 losses that Longview has this year are by a total of 6 points.
Wow.
Field goal.
God, dog.
At the beginning of the season and at the end of the season.
Oh man.
And Tatum did not play. I guess he's
he didn't?
No, I didn't realize that till later. I was like, he didn't play. Wow. But they were up.
Is he banged up? Is he injured?
I think he had a little illness, not ill. I think he had a little injury, but we didn't know and they didn't say, of course. But they were up by 2 touchdowns at one point. So I think the defense kind of just fell short a couple of times. They couldn't get a stop, but so Longview's out of the mix. But you got the East Texas marquee matchup that I think they're going to be playing in Longview.
Yeah, that's what I read. Mm-hmm.
Chapel Hill and Kilgore, and
wow.
Arthur was telling me a friend of his who I'm not sure what he does. His daughter does something, but they're calling this the East Texas Super Bowl. That particular,
Okay.
but
Hey,
I can
that's
see why.
dope.
I can see why. And
Yeah.
here at Rose
Okay.
State, it'll be Gilmer and Carthage.
Okay.
And Carthage,
They had a little scare, didn't
they put in a winning touchdown. The last possession.
they? Okay.
Wasn't no field goal, it was a touchdown. So they escaped. They've been tested twice
Yeah.
this year.
Okay.
That night,
Mm-hmm.
and when Kilgore lost to them by 3 points
Mm-hmm.
early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And so so Gilmer and Carthage, the Terry Bussey and Timpson and them are
Okay.
they got. I think we have like at least another 7 teams still in the hunt.
Wow, man! It's just for those that don't know about East Texas football. I'm telling you, man, it's just in something in the water down here where these teams, man, it's always
Yeah.
going to be 4 or 5 in the mix somewhere, always at the end of the season.
That's true. That's true. And
Yeah.
our strongest teams are well, obviously other than Longview being the strongest of being a 5A.
Right.
Because Tyler's a 5A and Legacy Lee's a 6A school.
Right.
Our strong teams are the 4A schools, man.
The 4A and the 3A. Yeah.
4 and the 3s.
Right.
4 and 3s are tough.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good. Malakoff and Winsboro will face one another.
Okay.
And 4, as a matter of fact. So no, we still got some coverage to do, and it's just now, y'all, stakes get higher each week. Each week the stakes get higher.
Right. So if you want to follow the coverage, make sure you got that Red Zone app, KLTV, KTRE. If you haven't already, go to your app store and download it. So again, Mike, I always appreciate you, brother, for joining us. Man, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Make sure you check out that documentary, Bye Bye Barry, on Amazon
I'm
Prime.
going to definitely check it out. Give me some donuts, Earl Campbell sausage, take a milk.
That sound pretty good, brother. Okay, all right. Well, we'll holler at you on the flip side, brother.
All right, take care.
All right, dude. You too. Peace. All right, guys. That's a wrap for today's Sunday Sports Wrap with your boy Kendrick. I hope everyone is having a great Thanksgiving holidays. So I know everybody going to wind down. So we do got Sunday football, NFL football coming up in about an hour and 15 minutes. Again, a lot of the marquee games were played over the Thanksgiving holidays. So again, I hope you guys are enjoying your family, your food, and your fun and all that good stuff. So make sure, if you haven't already, look at the ticker. Make sure you like and subscribe to TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SPORTZ HUSTLE on Facebook. And make sure you like and follow it on YouTube. Subscribe to it on Facebook. On YouTube, my bad. And like and follow on Facebook. There we go. I got it twisted around. Make sure you do that. And also make sure you follow me on my personal Facebook page. That's Kendrick Roland Henderson. And you can also follow me on Instagram. That's at KDrick1969. And you can also follow me on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson 51. I am now at 1,000 followers on TikTok. So I will be doing some live stuff over there on TikTok. Sports, whatever's trending, just hot topics. It may not necessarily be sports related. It may be whatever I find interesting. I'll talk about it. So I'm gonna start doing more live stuff on TikTok as well as doing more live stuff on Facebook and on my Facebook page as well. So again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Again, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your football, and enjoy them leftovers. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.